Okay, welcome back to another episode of Banking Without Borders. So today we're looking at 4 of the biggest digital banks in the UK: Revolut, Chase UK, Starling Bank and Monzo. And we're going to try and work out and debate which one is the best. We're going to go through cashback, savings, travel, support, and just have an honest conversation about what they get right and what they get wrong. And as always, feel free to jump in the comments if you disagree or you want to add anything or correct us. We love to hear from you. And Jan, good to see you, buddy. Shall we just begin with the origin story of these 4?
Absolutely, Johnny. So very interesting. I want to say this beforehand. All of these 4 providers are licensed banks. Revolut was the last to acquire their banking license. You guys probably have heard about it. That was March 2026 when they've received it after a long struggle in order to get it. Revolut initially launched in 2015, probably the oldest provider in here. Might be worth mentioning that they were incorporated in 2013 and it took them 2 years to actually build a product. Monzo launched in 2015, Starling 2017, and Chase UK is the youngest of these 4, which just launched in 2021. Revolut is the biggest of these 4 with 75 million global customers. Monzo, a little bit behind, or quite a lot behind actually, with 15 million customers. Starling, 6 million customers, and Chase UK, only 2.5 million customers. What I find interesting, Johnny, is the fact that all of these 4 are kind of different, right? They have a similar product, they're all banks, but they're different in the way they approach banking. So you see Revolut and Monzo with paid tiers, right? You can upgrade in order to get subscriptions or other benefits. You've mentioned in the past that you can get a Greg's treat when you upgrade to Monzo Perks. Very nice, sausage roll, etc. Lot of stuff available there.
Says the vegan.
But you don't get that with Starling and Chase. These are literally fully fledged bank accounts, and they just do banking really well. So the question really is, what's best? What's best for whom, right?
I mean, there's a lot of subjectivity with this one, isn't there, Jan? There's so many different benefits across all 4 providers. We've got a number of tiers that we could look at for Revolut, from standard to ultra. We're not going to go into that today. We're specifically looking at the best free accounts or the best sort of standard tier accounts that they're offering. The same can be said for Monzo as well. We're not going to go into too much detail with their different plans that they have available. I think looking at the core banking benefits of these, I mean, there is a couple that stand out more because of what Jan just said. Like Chase UK, for example, are really trying to hammer home that they are just a core bank without having like the offset of different benefits, like a VPN subscription, for example. Unlike Starling, Jan, they also have a credit card to offer. Revolut don't have a credit card at this point. We know there'll be one coming. Monzo have Flex, works in a similar way to a credit card and is also more functional in the sense that it has like a buy now, pay later built in, where you can spread the cost across not only 3, but 6, but 9 months as well with interest. So, but I think if we're thinking, Jan, just core banking features, Chase and Starling kind of stand out a bit for me, because with Starling, you are getting cash deposits as well. That's a big compelling factor of Starling Bank versus these other providers, isn't it? Revolut used to offer cash deposits. They got rid of them, which is fascinating. And if you look at these providers, Starling Bank's going to be your only option if you want to deposit cash. I mean, you could use Monzo, but it's £1 per deposit, which just isn't reasonable, I'm afraid. You know, I've got £20 for Christmas from my nan and I got to pay £1 to deposit it. So I think when it comes to core banking, Starling, Chase are at the top here. Jan, I don't know if you want to push back at all on that. I mean, you're going to get virtual cards with Starling as well. You're going to get virtual cards with Revolut and Monzo, but...
Johnny, I'd like to push back on the cash deposit part. You mentioned that costs £1 per deposit when you use Monzo. Not quite true. You get 3 free deposit if you're subscribed to a tier above perks, so only the entry tier pays. And you could literally just go ahead and upgrade this if you really have the scenario that you have to deposit cash more often.
I mean,
Starling has a limit of £1,000 per year, so that's also somewhat restrictive if you think about it.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what's quite better, and above that they charge 0.7% in fees, and I think that can probably sum up faster. I'd say most people literally looking to deposit cash, they probably have a bit more than £20, right? Else what's the point of going to a post office to deposit it with Monzo, then paying a £1 fee? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these cards also have, like, Starling also has the Kite card, which is a children's account. I was getting birthday cards when I was a child that had like a £10 note in. I might be lucky enough to accumulate £30 to £50 in total. Am I supposed to just keep that cash under my pillow? Maybe that's what most people do until they've got a large enough amount to justify going to deposit it. I don't think we need to hang too long on cash deposits. It's becoming quite a niche topic, but it's an important one to mention if we're comparing them on a banking level. Starling here do stand out though beyond the rest of the providers, right? I think we can agree on that. They are weak though in certain other aspects. I mean, look, from an app perspective, arguably Starling have the worst app out of all four. Some people will push back and we welcome that in the comments, but if you look at the app in terms of functionality, features that are available, Revolut and Monzo are ahead, particularly from like a budgeting and analytics perspective. Starling have decided to push forward with their AI chatbot. I've not had a huge amount of experience using it because to get the most of it, you would need to have like a depth of data available for it to look at. I can only ask it questions like, you're supposed to ask it questions like, for example, how much money did I spend last month on groceries or at a specific vendor? And it can give you that detail quite quickly. So unless you have that data there, can't really tell you a huge amount. But Starling have really focused on going down the AI road. But I think as a result, Jan, they haven't really taken their app further, not redesigned, redeveloped, or improved or added new products and features. And that's something Monzo do. That's something Revolut do. I mean, within Monzo, you've got so much, mate. You've got the ability to track and trace a pension. You've got the ability to invest in a number of different funds. You've got a fantastic savings challenge like that will get increased interest that we'll talk about. We'll go into the interest rates shortly. Revolut are doing a similar challenge. Revolut are doing challenges around Rev points and rewards that we'll talk about shortly as well. Chase UK recently, they've never really overhauled their app from a design perspective, but you've got JP Morgan's personal investing built in.
Johnny, I'd just be curious, how would you rank them if you'd have to give a tier list? Revolut would be one, I assume?
I mean, it's subjective, isn't it? Like I said this at the start of the video, like Monzo would be for number one for me.
Monzo, okay.
I find it easier to just coordinate. I find it easier to just progress through and find everything that I'm looking for. Then it would be Revolut, and then it would be Chase. I do actually prefer Chase's simplicity. And then it would be Starling, which I've just become quite sick and tired of, to be honest. I used Starling Bank for about 9 months in 2021 and 2022, and the app has developed and changed since then. I can appreciate that. I was using it when they had current account interest. It was like 0.5%, I believe, up to £2,000. I appreciate that. I think that should come with a disclaimer because a lot has changed then. And that's why people can jump in the comments and critique what I'm saying regarding Starling and defend Starling, please. But from my perspective, from my experience, that's how I would order it. Monzo, Revolut, Chase, and Starling.
Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. So legacy beat fintech in this case. Wow, didn't expect that, Johnny. What about savings? Should we talk about savings? Because there I think it's rather the opposite. If I see the 4.5% boosted saver that Chase has to offer at the moment for new customers, to be honest, but it's still very, very compelling, isn't it? So how would you say does fintech compare against legacy when you look at savings?
Well, I think that this is to do with deep pockets, right? We know, and to be fair, Revolut are able to raise a lot of money to fund their expansion and their marketing schemes, but JP Morgan are putting a lot of money behind Chase UK. And I actually found it really interesting, Jan, when you said they only have 2.5 million users. I had to double check that because that sounded low because they are so generous or aggressive with their rewards and offers. And part of that is the Chase Saver at 4.5%. New users only, and you get it for the first 12 months. If we take a look at depositscout.com right now, if we filter for easy access, Chase UK, they're right up there, just behind Revolut. But really, that Chase Saver is actually more compelling because it's 4.5% across 12 months, whereas Revolut here are offering a boosted rate up to £25,000 of 5%. And beyond that, the rate that you receive reverts to your account or plan rate. And if you're using standard, that's 2.9%. So you end up with a blended rate, so to speak. And Revolut are only onboarding new customers onto that rate between the months of, I believe, June and August. and then that rate will end in December. So if you sign up for Chase UK today, you know you're going to get 4.5% for a whole year. So ultimately, Chase UK right now have the best easy access saver in the UK. There's a couple others in there. We can see on depositscout.com, there are some options available for you, but Chase UK, super compelling. Starling, I don't even know if they're worth discussing, Jan.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, Johnny. It's ridiculous. 2.5% easy access. What's the point even?
Let's have some fun. Let's go on depositscout.com right now and we'll put Starling into the table. So I'm just going to add Starling, put that easy saver into the table, and there you go. It drops right down to the bottom. And it's not even close. I mean, if we have a look at it, 0.3% below inflation right now. It's not good enough, is it? And it kind of tells you how they can't be that hungry for new customers, Jan, if they're not going to be offering such a poor rate, because that will deter deposits. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, are you depositing money with Starling Bank of any large sum?
I'd be surprised if someone
because your money's being eaten away by inflation.
Yeah. Johnny, is it because Starling lost focus because they're so busy developing their engine product, which we've discussed in the past? It's a banking as a service product that they've launched that they want to push. Is it that they lost focus and they're just focused on that now? B2C is no longer relevant?
Possibly. I don't know, but something surely could explain why they have to some degree stagnated in terms of like the innovation of their product, of their app. You know, Monzo, Revolut racing ahead with new features. Chase UK, I mean, we aren't going to go into a huge amount on the different plans and tiers, but Chase UK does have Chase Protect, something they launched, I believe, in December of last year. It's an insurance bundle, arguably a challenger to Monzo's Max plan. Starling aren't countering that with their own insurance bundle or plan.
They have nothing, right? Nothing in place.
Please, yeah, I don't see anything. Unless you do, I really struggle to see the unique selling point of Starling in this conversation. Please, though, again, in the comments, chime in. Maybe it's the cash deposits, Jan. I don't know, buddy. Do you see anything?
Yeah, not much, to be honest, Johnny. Cash deposits.
Travel?
Travel.
Do you want to talk about travel? Because that might defend them somewhat.
It's a very good travel card. Is that a standalone reason to sign up for Starling? I'd say probably not, because the other providers that we're talking about, they're also decent, but Starling's probably leading in terms of travel. What you get is MasterCard's exchange rate, no markup at all. Similar across at least 3 of these 4 providers. Monzo and Chase also offer the MasterCard rate without any additional markup. Revolut, they built an exchange rate margin into the rate. They call it the Revolut rate. We've discussed it in the past. Not terrible, but it's also not good either. Love the fact that there's no sort of weekend markup or FX limit with Monzo, Starling, and Chase. You do get that with Revolut, so that can make especially at least with the free tier, that can literally disqualify Revolut as a travel card if you were planning on using it. ATM withdrawals, that's where Starling has a slight edge over all of these other providers. No fees on worldwide ATM withdrawals, although there's a cap of £300 per day, I believe. If you make the math, £300 per day. If you really had to withdraw £300 every single day, there'll be £9,000 you'd be withdrawing in a month, and that's a lot more that you can withdraw for free compared to all of these other providers. Revolut offers £200 per month. Monzo, I believe it's between £200 and £600 depending on your tier, the location, whether you're within the EEA, and whether you use the account as a main bank account or not. And Chase offers up to £1,500 per month or £500 per day. Starling, clear winner here, but is that increased ATM allowance a reason to just pick Starling over these other providers? No. God, no. No. I think most people will be fine just withdrawing maybe £500 when they're on a trip. That's it, I guess. How often you actually use cash? Unless you're in a foreign country that's literally relying on cash. But nowadays, there are not many of these. And
I mean, Revolut are hedging so hard and you're not needing it at all, given that they were historically this travel-friendly card, but they only offer you £200 of fee-free withdrawals.
Yeah, that's
it
not
was
enough.
For a long time, though. It is arguably good enough. Yeah,
it's not enough.
For a long time.
That's not enough.
No,
that's not enough.
Yeah.
£200 is not enough.
I was going to say you could... Yeah, okay, fair. I was going to say you could argue it both ways. You could, because you could argue destination specifics. Like you could go to a pretty modern, I mean, even the UK, you know, I don't ever pay for anything with cash.
Me neither.
Unless I'm buying something on Facebook Marketplace, which I doubt you're going to be doing when you travel here for your holiday. So, yeah, I see it both ways though. 200 is to be fair, for a brand or a bank that markets itself as being this sort of travel companion, yes, Revolut Standard should definitely do better. Whereas Starling are overdoing it to some degree. But as a result, maybe they position themselves as a great travel card. I personally, Jan, have been speaking about them for years. Every travel card video I think I've ever done, I've said Starling Bank is a great choice. I like Monzo, but it's a little convoluted. I think it's quite clear, isn't it, the order here? It's Starling, Chase, Monzo, Revolut.
Is it a similar order if we look at rewards, for example? Because I think Starling, do they have anything in place?
Oh, it's like a reverse. I was going to say it might be reversed, because if you think about it, right, Starling and Monzo, I mean, Starling don't have any reward system in place. They may have historically had Tail, which I think is now Verve.
Tail.
These are third-party apps. Yeah, I actually thought it was Bark, but
Bark?
it's Tail. Your classic retailer cashback apps, multipliers. You plug into your Starling account, or you plug your Starling account in.
What's wrong with these
It was
names?
clunky as hell. I remember testing it because I did a Chase UK versus Starling video in like 2022. And I tested it. It was a terrible experience. Starling is last when it comes to rewarding your spending. Monzo arguably third. They have retailer specific in the app, and it's all right. I mean, it is what it is. It's not great. Loads of banks do this. It's just basic. I'm sure they'll come through with something at some point though, which will be better. And then it comes down to Revolut and Chase UK, Jan, which is an interesting conversation, right? Do you want to talk about who is more rewarding?
Is it though?
The cashback or the rev points? I know. I was just trying to hype it up a little bit. I was trying to make it a little bit more interesting.
I think if you solely look at these three tiers, you compare Revolut Standard to Chase UK, it's very clear. Chase UK is far better. Revolut lets you earn rev points. Chase UK, on the other hand, gives you cashback directly. With Standard, you're only getting one rev point for every £10 that you spend. Really hard to justify. I'm collecting them. I don't even know how many ref points I have. It doesn't matter at this point, right? Because if I go ahead and let's say I spend 1,000, like 77, I think. I logged in the other day actually. If you go ahead and spend £1,000, you're literally just getting 100 ref points, and they convert to Avios, for example, 1-to-1. So you're getting 100 Avios by spending £1,000. Wow.
What's the redemption value? 1p per point?
Yeah.
So £1?
If so, but you'd struggle to find anything to redeem these points for at that rate. Unless you have a few thousand points, ref points, Avios, you just can't do much with them. So it's irrelevant.
If you go, say, like for like 1p per point, or with Chase UK, you can earn 2% cash back up to, £1,000 of spending. So with Chase UK, if you spent £1,000 and you were qualified for the cash back, you could get £20. If you spent £1,000 with Revolut Standard, as Jan just said, you'd get 100 points, which would arguably at 1p per point be worth £1. So you're earning 19 less pounds as a result of shopping with Revolut Standard.
Might be worth mentioning that Chase UK cashback is only on certain categories, right? I believe there was groceries, fuel, transport.
Good point.
That's it.
Slightly stretched now. I think it's slightly stretched now. You've got takeaways in there as well. Yeah, they opened it up a little bit more. I'm just going in to have a quick look, but they've stretched it out a bit. Groceries, everyday transport, fuel and electric charging, restaurants and cafes, and takeaways.
Groceries is the big part, I guess, huh?
Yeah. I would say the majority of household spending in the UK is probably pushed across that. Can you spend £1,000 on all of those categories every month?
Combined, maybe.
Someone who eats a lot of food, fuels their car frequently.
Bodybuilder. For example,
Bodybuilder that drives to commutes in a car. Yeah. There's definitely, he'll need a big car. He's building his body. So I think it's clear, inside of Chase UK as well, you're also going to earn 5%, on roundups. That never really moved the needle for me personally.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Every now and then I transfer a couple of pounds out of the roundup account. That number, Jan, was, they I think it was 2021 when they launched, that number was pure marketing. Mate, it hit hard. 5% interest on roundups. No one really computed how little you would actually earn, but it was a marketing play, and I think it was very effective. They came out with very big headline numbers. I think it was a 2% interest account as well, 2% saver, and it was huge at the time. Really, the big one there is the 2% cashback, which does mean that they are the best in terms of rewards of the four. Of course, though, if you get Revolut Ultra and you're earning 1 point per pound, that will change things. I appreciate that. But from a free account perspective, Chase UK is superior. Arguably the same with support. I will speak from experience. I welcome people to jump in the comments and let us know what your experience was like. Chase UK, though, pretty good. You can get a call through pretty quick. You can get someone on the app relatively quick. If I was to order it from experience, I'd probably put Chase and Monzo first. I recently tested Monzo's phone number. It was really good. It was really good. I called them. Someone answered at Monzo, Jan. And because I was testing them, I didn't think they were going to answer that quickly. And I wasn't ready with a question. And I hung up. I panicked and I hung up. I think we've all been there. And immediately, mate, they called me back. And I didn't answer, but they left a voicemail. And I wanted to make sure everything was okay.
All right.
That was Monzo. That was really cool. You're not getting that with Revolut. Let's be real. You're going to get the app, and it's going to try and filter you out with AI, at least on the standard account. And with Starling, again, speaking from experience, my experience using like the in-app chat support was also very good. So I'd probably rank this sort of Monzo or Chase first, Starling maybe in there as well, and then Revolut last. And I think people would share the same sentiment. You probably used Revolut support, right?
I've used Revolut support, yes, but I'm only subscribed to the standard tier, so I wasn't able to try this phone support at all. I believe that's available above premium.
I've used it. I've tested it. Yeah, it was okay.
Was okay. All of these providers offer 24/7 phone support, at least with certain restrictions. And I think that's quite amazing, considering that it sometimes takes a while to call a legacy bank. I've called legacy banks more often than fintech banks, actually, and I'm surprised like how long certain things can take to get resolved at all, or to even speak to someone. It's fascinating, and I think that's a good sign. I think that's how these banks win trust. That's how they acquire customers, and that's probably the best way forward. Because if there's one thing that's extremely frustrating, is having an issue with your money, which is very important, and you don't have anyone to talk to. That's a situation you don't want to be in.
And especially because they're branchless, they should do the best possible service when it comes to customer contact.
Mandatory.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's important to mention, we talked credit cards, but I just realized we didn't talk about personal loans and overdrafts, Jan, which might just be worth referencing because only one of these providers offers personal loans.
Yeah, and I believe that is Monzo at the moment, at least in the UK. Revolut offers loans and credit cards in certain EU markets, but not in the UK at this time. They will launch for sure. They've just got their banking license. Things take time. They'll also launch loans and credit cards very soon, I'm sure. But yeah, with Monzo you can get loans. Monzo is probably the closest when you look at these providers when it comes to being a regular bank. Because you can get a loan, you can get a credit card, you can get an overdraft, you can deposit cash relatively freely without many restrictions. Okay, it costs money, but to be fair, it probably costs them money if a customer deposits cash as well, and that's a free account. So I think that's rather fair. That makes me think, Johnny, that Monzo is the most complete account overall. If we look at our tier list here, and that's probably the account I would recommend to most people.
I do appreciate what you're saying. At the beginning, I spoke about Chase UK, which felt like the core banking provider, the robust, free, standard bank. In hindsight, I think Monzo I would go for Monzo. And they are, in terms of their own customer feedback, the most successful of the four, aren't they? At least of the three that we have, because of Ipsos and the questionnaire that they put out, I believe, on a quarterly basis, where they ask 1,000 customers of I think the top 17 banks in the UK, for their feedback. Monzo is currently at the top of that. I must admit, I think you're right. I think Monzo is the one here to recommend from a banking perspective. From a travel perspective, Starling Bank is good, is great. From a rewards perspective, Chase UK, particularly for new customers, not only for cashback, but also for savings. Is it possible that Revolut, Jan, are the worst of the four If we're talking digital bank though, we're here to say who is the best digital bank, and Revolut have a fantastic app. Does that make up for the lack of some of these really important banking features?
Wow. To me, probably not. Because it's not like these other apps
hard,
are
isn't it?
unusable. I would recommend Revolut the least, Johnny. I'm all with you here.
Revolut Standard.
Revolut Standard, at least. It's worth noting. Starling, in my opinion, best travel card, I've said before. It's close, relatively, though. Chase UK is great when it comes to cashback. Probably best cashback card. And probably a card you should, or an account you should get regardless of whether you have an account of these other providers, because it's just so good when it comes to cashback. You can get 2% on groceries, fuel, transport, dining. As Johnny mentioned, that's solid, hard to beat.
Yeah, Chase UK also, just to chime in there, you can switch with Chase UK and not close your account entirely, which is quite a good benefit for anyone who's looking to grab switch offers right now. Just go to depositscout.com, check out the switch offers. And if you have a Chase UK account, you can enact a switch through the current account switching service without having to close the account entirely. Just create a new current account inside the app. I've done that. Chase UK are aware that customers are doing this. You can't abuse it, but I think that's another reason to have a Chase UK account available.
I think everything has been said, right? If I had to categorize, Monzo, best overall, Starling, slightly better on travel, Chase, best account on cashback, and Revolut is ironically the weakest of these, at least with the standard account. You should probably still have it because it's, it might get better over time. Who knows? They might launch credit cards that make a Revolut standard more exciting in the future. I don't know. Yeah. But right now, I don't see a lot of reasons to.
It's the sad state of it, isn't it? That they use the tiered plan accounts. That's where the focus is, and they're using standard to just funnel people into them, and that's the sad fact.
It is.
Whereas. Monzo are doing that to some degree, but at least that standard free account has a little bit more to give, particularly from a travel perspective.
Absolutely right.
Really curious to hear what everyone has to say about this, Jan. It is a highly contested, highly subjective, so please get in the comments, let us know your thoughts, push back. And if you want to make it a bit more personal, you want to target us specifically, sounds like you're going to bully us, but come into the Discord. I'll put a QR code on the screen right now. We'll stick a link in the description box. We just set that up. Join in the conversation. Become a founding member. We'd love to see you over there.
And besides that, I think, Johnny, there's not much to add here. We'll see you in the next episode, as always. And it's been a pleasure. Goodbye.